There I am. Okay. So welcome. It's Friday, April 24th. How's everybody doing? Get a thumbs up from everybody.
April 24th, my birthday.
Happy birthday, Maritza.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Maritza.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. I'm sorry that you have to celebrate it like this, but
Hey, at least I'm entertained with you guys at home, so this is better than not doing anything, right?
Are you guys at least gonna have cake?
Yeah, we cut a little cake for me. Yeah.
Okay, good. At least you guys did that, you know?
Yeah, and my uncle he took me to get breakfast, and but we eat it in the house. We didn't eat outside, of course. It was
Okay,
good breakfast.
Thank God.
Fresh breakfast, yes. That was good, yes.
Yeah, safety first, girl. Safety first.
Yes, hun, definitely for sure.
So I was just updating everybody on some of the emails that I sent out, and we're waiting for Cristina, who's going to jump in at like 4 o'clock, and she'll conduct her workshop. And then, like I said, Brandon's workshop will be online probably after the weekend. It'll be an interview between the two of us. And I'm thinking about maybe, since we have some pretty special. You like how I'm in my own chair?
Wait, what? You said you have some pretty special what?
Pretty special alumni. I was thinking maybe we can do some sort of like interviews with them so that you can have the experience of seeing that. I mean, our diplomat is back in the United States, back because obviously they can't have them overseas. So we've been talking. So she did an interview with me, a one-on-one, which we can then post and you guys can see. And she's been very supportive of like people, current students, if they had questions about going into diplomacy. And we have a couple of people, we have a doctor, we have a couple of other folks. But that's a matter of time and finding the time. And right now, I'm just focusing on getting into finishing up the workshops that we have, doing that virtual retreat and our virtual pass on torch ceremony, which will happen on the 23rd. And we need to get the word out about that. So let people know they should sign up. We will eventually we will send out certificates and everything to everybody, and any awards that are given. Some of you were nominated for awards at honors convocations, so you may get some information from them as well, just so that you know. And we'll get everything out to everybody eventually, just when it's safe to get everything. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out if we're going to do a Phi Theta Kappa ceremony, if we can even do it, or what we can do with that. It's just, the stalls are impossible to get. Financially, we can't get them right now. And safety-wise, we can't be shipped. And there's nobody at the college to receive them. There's a million different things. So that's where we are. Anybody have any questions about anything?
I wanted to ask if you possibly knew about if Hostos was going to adopt some of the things that other CUNY colleges have done, which is they have set up graduation, but to do an online virtual graduation.
Virtual?
It's an online virtual graduation. I wanted to know if Hostos was going to adopt the same method, or if they were just going to leave it at that.
Right. So I was on the conference call this morning with my colleagues from across the university, and they were talking about everything. And as of right now, I haven't heard back on what it is that the plan is from Hostos. But I did share something with Louise and Kelvin this morning, so that if SGA wanted to consider to do something like in a small way for the students, and they've been asking at the meetings that I've been at with them, they can think about that, and I can try to help support them. They still have access to their funds for the most part, so they can still move around some things. They wanted to help out with some laptops that wasn't necessary because the university bought them. And then the last meeting, they talked about some hotspots, I know there was an announcement from the president today about the hotspots, and we haven't gotten feedback on whether or not they're going to be able to purchase additional hotspots. But they still have some money sitting around that they might be able to do some things with. It's going to be dependent on what the university says. But every college is different when it comes to this. I've heard a couple of colleges say they're going to combine 2021 at a graduation. I don't know how they're going to do that. They would need like a massive space, and they haven't spoken to the students about that. I've heard that a lot of the campuses are doing some sort of virtual thing, but they're not allowed to call it graduation. So that students will be invited to like celebrations. And then some of them, there is this one thing I think I sent to Movies and Calvin today, which is where you can like celebrate, get a gift. You get a gift in the mail that indicates, you know, that you're graduating. But I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that in time, or if, and City College pushed back its graduation. So whatever they're going to do in terms of like their ceremony is going to be later than it normally would be. But the entire university as a whole is saying, we're not going to call anything graduation. So everything's sort of just like, okay, we're doing something in celebration of you guys graduating. And then down the road, we can make a decision about some choices. But no firm decisions have been made as of yet. And every college is doing something different. I mean, some of the colleges, you know, just started when the pandemic hit. So the schools that are on the quarter system are they're farther behind us in terms of what they were doing. They hadn't started their semesters as of yet. So everything for them is slower. They don't know, like their student activity fee, they actually gave back 50% of their student activity fee to students. We had already spent a good amount of our money because we had started the semester for about 2 months before everything went away, but they had only had a couple weeks. So there are different protocols for every college. Every college is a little different in everything that they do. And maybe this just makes everybody sort of more like different. This is more than I've had to talk in a long time. With Marley, I just listen and I shake my head and say, okay. And with Miles, it's a 2-word sentence, da, 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 kind of thing. So this is more than I've had to talk about. So, any other questions? Cristina should be here in 2 minutes. No.
I think we're good for now.
And everybody's going to be at the passing the torch. Everybody's going to be at the virtual retreat. Rock climbing, come on. I know you can't do it yourself. Do this something. Let's see. And you're getting a singing from Marley, her concert. Let's see. And everybody's healthy and their family's healthy and everything's good like that. I miss my chair in my office. This is a virtual chair. Every so often I just look in my office. My light is on for some reason, so I just turn my camera on and I can look in my office.
Are you gonna be able to like? Are we gonna be able to like make another video for like the? You know, we're not gonna be in the school, but you know, so the whole school could still look at it.
The problem I've been having with the video is that I haven't been able to move everything around. So I figured out yesterday I could be on 2 of these meetings at the same time on the one computer. But moving the pictures from, where I'm talking to you from now is the same area that, this computer is the one that was at the booth. I'm talking to you on the section that you would normally run the videos. But on the back end of this computer is a virtual computer that connects back to my Hostos computer. So I can't talk to you guys on that one. I can't even do this. Yesterday, somehow I figured out a way to get on there, on that screen, but I didn't have any sound and I didn't have any voice. So I could see a picture. So, and then where you see me is on my phone. So I don't, because there's no camera on it. So everything's sort of like just flying together. And then, so the pictures that I have of you guys, a couple are on my phone, but most of them are on the computer at the office. And so I've been trying to move them. I can't, and it's frustrating. So at some point I'll try to do it again, but it's been very difficult to get everything up and running. You would think that everything's on the same computer that you can, but it's not. Most days I'm on 2 different screens on the same computer, just getting different things to work. So it's hard. Let's see. So Cristina should be here any minute. Hi, everybody. Those of you that just joined us. It's Maritza's birthday, so you guys can all write in the comments, happy birthday, Maritza. We won't ask her how old she is. You don't need to know. She looks very young. And she has that very young persona about her.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
And has Justin been able to come and see you?
Justin, he's a little sick at the moment, but he should be better. Yeah, right now he's just on the safe side. He said he'd rather be distanced from me and my family at the moment, just to be on the safe side. So I'm like, okay, that's it. But he does want to come. I was gonna add in for the. I put yes if you're having someone for the lighting torch ceremony. I put yes, and he'll be my guest. Like last year, he was my guest. So yeah, he'll be the guest again as well.
So, what am I doing? Hi, Eric. Hi, Edith. Sound Wax. Hi, Lima. Hi, everybody. I'm still waiting on my host. So, that's okay. My camera does not work either. I'm on a phone doing this. You guys see me? I'm wearing my Air Force sweatshirt. I look a little different.
Can you hear me?
What's that? I can hear you.
Goodness gracious.
Who's got music on?
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
I'm like, I can't.
I'm gonna try to contact Cristina right now and see if I can get a hold of her. I see the Yanir is outside. Are you supposed to be outside? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yes, just a little bit of friction.
Yeah, it's because the phone and the are too close together. There's Cristina right here. Let's see. And pop up. Hi, Cristina.
Hey!
I've been holding down the fort for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Jason. Oh, look at everybody here. Oh, okay. Well, my name is Cristina Waszak, and thank you for being here. I had a meeting that was from 3 to 4, and it went a couple minutes over. And I was like, all right, we're here. So Jason, thank you very much for having me here. So just a little bit about my excitement. It's been a little while since I've been with the academy and had Hostos students, to talk to in a group like this. Usually the last time was in a large room, and so I'm really happy to have you all here. I feel like when I was first starting out doing workshops, Hostos was one of the schools that I would come to, and so I feel like it's another home for me in a way, my home in the Bronx. So so guys, here's what I'll do. I will get going here. Okay. And I'm also excited about this topic too. Okay. Alrighty. So we're here to talk about leadership development for professional success. And the way I do workshops, I like to interact with everyone, so I'll have questions, and you can either put it in the chat, or you can, you can speak if you want, and we'll have some fun, okay? All right, so leadership development for professional success. So professionally, right now I work at the Borough of Manhattan Community College. I am in the community college family with you. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Activities and Leadership there. I've been in CUNY. I used to work at Brooklyn College. So I've been in CUNY almost 20 years. I am also a CUNY alum. I did attend Brooklyn College, so I had a good time there. And after I graduated, I left for a little bit. I was a television and radio major as an undergraduate, and so I worked at a company that dealt with television commercials, and I felt like I wanted to work with people more, and there happened to be a graduate assistant position at Brooklyn College if I was going to grad school, which is the graduate assistant. So I ended up going to school for industrial and organizational psychology, and that's what I got my master's in, and I love it. So we talk about leadership development, we talk about organizations, we talk about professional development. So leadership and professional development are two areas I love talking about. So, so a little bit about my journey though, professionally, and also as a leader. So is anybody a Star Wars fan here? I am a Star Wars fan. Okay, cool. So in this photo, we have Darth Vader, who is, if not the best villain, one of the best villains ever. He is holding up one of the rebels. And the quote is, "Strong leaders don't put others down, they lift them up." Okay, Darth Vader, philanthropist. All right, so here's why I shared that photo. So when I was in college, I was very involved, even as a wee youngster, as a child. I was involved in organizations and leadership roles. And I think back, and I was actually telling someone who works at another CUNY college that when I was in college, I would get certificates for leadership, and I don't think I was that good of a leader. I really don't. I was in leadership roles and I was elected to positions, but sometimes I was elected to positions because nobody else wanted to do it. And they knew I would do it. So, okay, I took a step. So as a leader, I took on the role. But somebody said to me at one point, something like, you are intimidating. People don't want to talk to you sometimes. So now, how would you react to that? Like, does anybody want to share, like, what would you say to that? Because then I'll tell you what I thought.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so I had somebody who told me that I was intimidating, that they were afraid to talk to me. And yeah, so if somebody said that to you, how would you take that? And I guess, is there anybody who would feel bad?
I would say, well, this is me, Maritza speaking. I would say, someone was to say that to me, this is what I would say. I'd be like, oh, you don't have to be intimidated by me. Just get to know me. I'm a great person. I have a great personality. Don't worry about my features or if I look intimidating. If you get to know me better, you can see the type of person I am.
Okay. That sounds good.
Like I got judged before with my parents that they thought I was like a mean girl or I'm stuck up, I'm into myself. So when they got to know me better, they're like, oh, she's not like that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Because I'll tell you, yeah.
I'll just agree with Maritza. It's happened to me a lot that a lot of people think that I'm like mean, I guess, or like what I've gotten is that I think I walk around with the attitude that I think I'm better than others. And, maybe it's because I have like naturally a relaxed bitch face. Or it could be just the fact that like, before I engage with other people, I'm a very observant person. So I'm quiet. I don't necessarily associate myself with everyone. I am very careful who I associate myself with because essentially I always think back to teaching that I've learned. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you're a part of a group that isn't exactly positive or is not like what people will consider like good or whatever, you can oftentimes be, I guess, unfairly put in that position. And it's not that I think that I'm better than anyone. It's just I hold myself to a certain degree or a certain caliber. And especially for what my future career goal plans are, I'm very careful who I associate with and what I do and things like that. And I don't think it's me thinking that I'm better than anyone. I just think it's simply me just being cautious and wanting to be around like-minded individuals and individuals who are doing things with themselves like I am. So
okay. So we're going to talk about career goals soon too, but thanks for sharing that. So that was very nice of both of you. I wasn't as nice. So when I was told I was intimidating or people didn't want to talk to me, maybe I was a nice person, but I felt I liked the power. that's why I used this photo, because I was like, good. I didn't say this, but in my head, I was like, good. You should be intimidated by me. But if someone's intimidated by you, then they're not comfortable talking to you. So now as a leader, if you have someone who's not comfortable talking to you, then do you know what they need, what they want, what their strengths are, what they're interested in? Do you know anything about them? Are they going to be comfortable saying that? Are they going to be comfortable discussing failure? Sometimes things don't go the way you want. Sometimes they do. Are they going to want to celebrate with you? Are you going to be included? And as a leader, let's say it's a club or an organization, a company, whatever it is, you're leading staff. What kind of dynamics are you creating by being that type of leader? So usually when I share this, there's like at least one person who's like, no, I want people to be intimidated by me. I want people to fear me as a leader. I was that person and it didn't work for me. So then I have another quote. It's about lifting, but it's very different. So if you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. So there's a different vibe to that one. That one is more me now. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. So there are different leadership styles, leadership theories. I say that I am a servant leader, which means that I believe I've been put on this planet to serve others. So I'm not here because, you know, I like spewing out information because I want to look like I know everything I'm talking about. No. So actually, I like doing workshops with people, whether it's students or professional staff, because we all learn from each other. I'm going to learn from you too. You're going to learn from me, and you're going to learn from each other. And so that's, you know, that's one of the things that I like about workshops. So I didn't get here just one day and just go, oh, I want to serve others. Now that might have been my core, at my core who I was, but the master's program, so it was psychology. It was a study of groups, but it's the study of individuals in groups. So while I was learning about people, I was learning about myself. Also, I'm in student affairs. That's my, you know, my field that I chose. So we go to workshops and conferences, and you know, we learn about ourselves through those. I had mentors, coaches, you know, therapists, counselors, where I actively learned about myself. And so I learned that there were some things about me that maybe weren't the best as a leader, but so I worked on that. And the work continues. You know, leadership is a continuous learning process. I mean, life is, right? You always got something new to learn about. So, so I wanted to share that because I'm a human being and we all are here, and I have a story related to my leadership journey, related to my professionalism as well. When I first started in student affairs, if somebody said something I didn't like, or if I heard somebody was talking about me, I went to their desk. So do we have something that we should talk about? Like I think back and I'm like, what? I don't act that way anymore. More now it might be like, hey, how's everything going? You know, somebody had said, like, it's more of an understanding place that I come from. And so these are some of the things we're going to talk about. I don't know if anyone else has these kind of thoughts or if you've ever dealt with anybody like that. But that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to see if anybody feels that, you know, they need some help with that. So I don't want to talk too much either. So I'm actually curious to hear from you. So I said, you know, we're going to talk about career goals. So this workshop is leadership development for professional success. So my question to you is, how do you define professional success? Because I define it in a certain way. Someone else defines it a different way. For me, it's about the work I do, not necessarily the title I'm in. Others, you know, they view their success based on their title, some on their money, some on, you know, I have this goal of working at this company or this school. So I want to hear from you, and I'm going to take some notes. How do you define success? Like, what does that look like for you? And you can either put it in the chat, or you can speak up. And there's no right or wrong answers. It's really, it's what you think. And I see some comments in the chat. So yes, we rise by lifting others. And all right, you've been working on some stuff. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So does anybody want to share, how do you define professional success?
May I go if you do not mind?
Oh, go ahead. I love it.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is staying safe. Success, in my opinion, I think varies, which is why when you mentioned specifically professional success, it got me thinking a little bit more, because there's personal success, obviously, there's the spiritual success. Success is different to whatever different people attribute it towards. Now, for me, if I want to answer generally about professional success, it should be about, what you're doing and not necessarily the title, which is why, for example, if your main goal in life is to change lives, you don't have to be in a position of power to do that. It should be something you should be able to do as a person, within your power. Now, maybe when you get to those higher positions, you'll be able to influence people more, but you should be able to do what you set out to do at whatever position that you find yourself in. So professional success, as for a teacher, the teacher does not need to be or professor does not need to be the head of the department before she could successfully impact the lives of students. So whatever goals that we choose, or whatever career path that we choose, as long as it has been like our dream to achieve a certain goal with that career, as long as you're achieving it beat by beat, you don't have to be at the top of that career to consider yourself successful, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. Anybody else? Anybody want to share? You might, and like I said, no right or wrong answer. You might have a specific job. All right, I see you. Cool. You might have a specific job, a title, an occupation, whatever it is, professionally. How do you define success? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, in your own right, like we just reiterated upon, like, you're successful depending on like how far your ceiling is. If your ceiling is unlimited, then you know what I'm saying, you're successful anything you do it. But I also believe that you're successful if you have the ability to make other people successful, as far as, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you're already successful, so you already got it going for yourself. So how can you encourage other people to, come down that route with you at the same time? But everybody's abilities are different. So, sometimes people need a little more encouragement to tap into those abilities. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just think that when you wake up in the morning and you're alive, you're already successful because you made it. So it's just like everything else that you're going to encounter in life or in your journey or your day, that's just extra. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to know how to maneuver around that. So I think that we all successful, all have the ability to become successful. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It depends on who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. Now, for this question, let's see. Oh, success. Success. Oh, I got some comments in the chat. Okay. Success. It's what you're aiming for in your professional life or your place of work. Success is intellect in motion, professionalism in motion, cognitive responses in motion, to teach others wisdom. It's being happy to go to my job or career every morning. A lot of people don't have that. Yeah. Yeah. Success is enjoying what you do. Do what you love and how you give yourself to others. Great. Okay. All right. So, does anyone have like career aspirations? So when I say that, like, what is your major and why did you choose that? And I think I'm gonna stop the share and open this up. Yeah, so I can see everybody. Okay. Yeah. So for me to get to know a little bit more about you, you know, what's your major, and like, you know, why did you choose that? What would you like to do with that? Let's see. While you do that, yeah, professional success is reaching the level when you feel complete in your doings, fulfilling a need, and taking others to the highest level they want to reach. All right, so we have an investment banker to help others achieve dreams. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else want to share? What's your major, and you know, why did you choose that? What do you want to do with that?
Can I share?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so my major is liberal arts, and the reason why I chose this major was because it allowed me to take an array of classes in several different areas and subject matters, and I wasn't subjected to just one one type of selection of classes that I could take. Typically, when you declare your major right away, and it's like a major that is in liberal arts, you must do those credits and take those classes only. So it doesn't leave much wiggle room for taking electives in other areas or taking classes in other areas that may pique your interest. I didn't think it was smart for me to just pick one specific thing. I thought it would be smart for me to pick liberal arts because this way I could take classes in law and public administration and business and food studies. Even took like a radiology class just because I wanted to know a little bit about the medical field. This allowed me to actually find my passion. When I first started my college journey, my background is actually in education. And before I matriculated myself into college, I had actually been working in the youth development field for 7 years. And then I realized maybe I don't want to be a teacher. Maybe I want to do something else, essentially. And I didn't, and it's good. I'm glad that I got the opportunity to work in that career field first before actually getting a degree in it, because it let me know that as much as I am good at teaching, it is not my passion. That is not what I want to do. And I'm very skillful in it, but however, again, it's not what I want to do. I realized that I have another passion, and I feel like Hostos helped me find that passion, not just with the classes that I took, but also being a part of 6 social justice clubs on campus.
Okay.
And, doing different activities and just holding different events and forums. That made me realize, like, I have a passion for advocacy and for fighting social injustices. And then I realized, you know what? I actually want to go down this path of advocacy. And now I got accepted to John Jay. So right now what I'm deciding on is if I'm going to do political science or public policy and administration. So those are my 2 options that I'm debating between. And my overall end goal is that I would like to be, I would like to go to law school. I want to be a civil rights lawyer for some time. And then after I'm done doing that, I would like to either be public advocate or New York City councilwoman. So that's where I'm shifting towards too.
Ah, okay. That gave me chills while you were talking. See? Oh, all right. So that, congrats on the John Jay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Do you know any city council people? Have you reached out to Jamani Williams' office?
So I actually just recently did an internship, and during that internship, I actually walked up to Jamani Williams, and he gave me his business card. So we have been in communication since.
Okay.
And I also, on a separate occasion, I went to a conference for women, and there I was able to connect with Carlina Rivera.
Yes.
And Adrian Adams, as well as Alika, which they're currently New York City Council women. And I specifically chose to approach them because they are women of color.
Yep.
And as a woman of color, I want to know how it is to navigate those certain fields and what kind of obstacles that may arise, and what was their experience dealing with those obstacles and those issues, and how they worked through it and how they were able to move forward, essentially. So I've asked them questions like that, just to prepare myself for my overall end goal. For when I do end up being in that position and I'm there, I know what to look forward to already. I know what to expect. And if certain situations may arise, I have already been given advice as to how I can handle and manage those situations.
Perfect. Okay. You see, you can all do this workshop yourselves. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
All right. So I majored in music initially, but fell in love with film. So then I studied cinematography, and now I make movies. I want to use media to elevate the species. Yes. Okay. So as I said, I was a television radio major as an undergrad because I love music. So my goal was to do two things: be a program director at an urban radio station, and also to have my own radio show, which I had while I was in college. And then I just, things went differently. So I'm also the type where, like, at one point, like you mentioned radiology, at one point I wanted to be a sonogram technician. There's so many things I'm interested in. So, but student affairs has kept me. It's kept me for the most part. All right, I major in electrical engineering, and I chose that because it's one of the highest paying engineering jobs. Okay. And for now, liberal arts and science, which allows me to have an abundance of soft skills. Yeah. The end goal is to graduate Lehman with my doctorate in neuroscience, which will allow me to understand the brain and mind in order to help my community by enriching their minds, teaching them to think righteously and effectively. I love Hostos. My major is business. I chose this career because of the fact it is used to link people. Countries are able to have their strongest beliefs put aside in order to make a business happen. And the fact of allowing this to happen for the good, yeah, I love, and you're commenting on each other, I love it. For the good of the entire country, the power of connection, we can get together to make it true. Boom. Yes. Yes, I love it. All right, so what I wanted to do is just go over a few things that has been helpful for me, and I think would be helpful for you. So one thing that sometimes people don't do enough of. Oh, Genesis is an award. Sorry, attention. Genesis is an award-winning filmmaker. With Hostos. Listen, I gotta tell you, when and then I'll get back to my slide. Hostos shows up. I'll be at conferences and you show up. So I recognize who I'm here in the room with. So and that's another reason why I'm so happy to be here. So one of the things that I had to do for myself was that I had to learn more about myself. Sometimes I will go in automatic mode or like robotic mode where I just do stuff. I know I got to do certain things, so I get them done. Oh, I'm in student affairs, so these are the steps I'm going to take. And so it took me, and sometimes I have to check myself. So, while I've been working from home, sometimes I got to journal to just get back to myself. Instead of going, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and just going in automatic mode. So I journal. Does anybody journal? You could put it in the chat if you journal. So also meditation. I'm a beginner for the most part, I'd say. And sometimes I meditate. It helps to calm me down when I'm going from thing to thing to thing. And then I'm thinking about the next thing that I gotta do. Sometimes I need to ground myself and say, okay, what's the thing that I gotta take care of right now, which many times is just me. Just chill for a second. So I don't know if anyone's done a vision board before, but that's a fun and creative way to learn things about yourself. You look through magazines and just the looking at the pictures that you choose to create a vision board, and people do vision boards differently. I've seen this vision board parties now. You could do it on a small piece of paper if you want. If you have a printer, you could print photos off the internet now. I think when this first started, people were talking about, you go to the store and you buy magazines and you cut pictures out. Sometimes magazines, though, they're like $5, $6, $7. So the cheaper, easier way is, you might want to just look around and see what kind of pictures you're drawn to. It's about what you're drawn to, and then you put this vision board together, and the vision board tells a story. It tells a story about, things that you want to do, goals that you have, how you envision your future. So it's kind of fun. I mentioned counseling, therapist, coach. So, being a CUNY student, there are resources. Well, living in New York City too, there's a lot of resources, especially right now. I was in a session earlier today about mental health and students and staff, and anxiety is a top reason right now for people to to want to seek out a counselor. So and that's it's the reality, so that helps, and helps you to learn about yourself as well. I put 2 assessments. Now, I don't know how many of you do this, but like I'll see quizzes on Facebook or different websites, or like BuzzFeed, and I'd be like, what type of cheese are you? I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is, so I put 16personalities.com. That is free. It's based on Myers-Briggs type indicator, which is something that is used internationally. And you can do that to learn more about yourself. It's things like, are you an extrovert or an introvert? So like, do you feel more energized when you're around people? Or do you feel a little drained when you've been around a group of people? So yeah, 16personalities.com. And another one that I listed, I don't know if you've heard of the 5 love languages. So when I first heard about the 5 love languages, it was people talking about, couples, so, oh, couples should take this. But when I took it, it told me things about myself that I can use in other relationships besides romantic relationships. Like I know, which is a little tough right now, but I know that I would rather see someone in person. Like my friends, I'd rather hang out with them in person than talk to them on the phone or text. I'm not doing that right now. So we're dealing with it. It's, fine. We do Zoom and, we're making it work because this is temporary. So, so I know that about myself. So it's things like that you can learn about yourself. And yes, you can share that with a romantic partner, or you can share that with family, friends, coworkers. So those are some things that I wanted to share. So does anybody want to share either like you do one of these things, or if you have anything else that's helped you to learn about yourself? Because remember I said we're all here to learn about each other, learn from each other. So. And then another question is, so I said leadership development for professional success. So that's really the big question I want to know. Why would I be talking about journaling and meditation in a leadership workshop? How could that be helpful as a leader?
Can I say something about it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I was going to say journaling and meditation could be helpful for you as a leader, especially meditating, because let's say as a leader, you do a lot of things, you're trying to keep your team on top and on track with you. So you're like their boss, So when you have so much stuff on your plate, you got to stay on top. Meditating is the best strategy to like release the stress and keep your mind calm and open. And then journaling could be like, you're writing down your thoughts and ideas. That way you won't have all your ideas and thoughts all over the place. I mean, that's how I see it, my perspective. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's right, but that's how I see it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and find your center. These elements can make you a more grounded leader with an open mind and spirit. Yeah, so just looking at the comments in the chat. So I'll also say, these are not things that I've done like my whole life. I worked with a coach who got me to do actually the journaling, the meditating, and the vision board. I had never done those things before. This was maybe like 2013 or 14. I was working with someone, and the journaling, I was like, oh no, I'm not writing my thoughts down. Oh no, I'm not diving deeper. So I resisted a lot of these things, and you know, that was a problem. So you know, for me it was like, no, I'm fine, I got this. I don't need to write my thoughts out. So I got comfortable with it, and it became something that I actually enjoy doing. Like when I haven't done it in a while, I'm like, I miss journaling. And I'll go do it. Take some time. Maybe I don't drink coffee, so maybe I'll have some tea. And you know, I'll just start writing and see where I go. Yeah, and you could keep calm, then you maintain a good maintain, so you could be good in different situations. So, and feed your soul as a leader. Yes. All right, so next I wanted to talk about, so you learn about yourself, you're gonna learn about the people around you. So I listed a few ways. It depends on, so all of this depends on your preferences. So for me, I'm not the person who is going to be like, hey, let's go for lunch today. So I talked about the 16 personalities. I'm a little more introverted, although I say I'm an introvert who does extroverted things like workshops. I do like working with people, but I need time to myself as well. And so lunchtime for me, especially during the workday, lunchtime is me time. That's when I need quiet. Sometimes I'll put music on. I need to just be, you know, to myself if possible. So, so not always, but most of the time, I'm not the one who's gonna invite people for tea or coffee, or lunch, dinner. But I know people that is, yeah, lunch. Who takes lunch? I know. Yeah. Did you take lunch today, actually? So I'm more the person that will volunteer to serve on committees or assist with side projects. Because while you're working with somebody, they might talk about how it was, you know, they live in Jersey, or, you know, they got 3 kids, or they're getting married. You know, you learn certain things about people, but you also learn about their strengths, their interests. Like for me, working on committees, that's how I know what staff, and this is not just at BMCC, or students as well, across CUNY in New York City, that I could go to and say, you know what, I need some help with this. Would you be willing to work with me on it? Or, hey, I heard you're doing that. I would love to help you with that. So that's how I've done it. Like I said, other people, they have built their networks based on food. Lunch, dinner, I mean, drinks. I didn't list that. Some people, if they're of age, they will go for drinks after work. I'm not a big drinker, so that's not, you know, something that I tend to do. I listed assessments again. So if you have a club, a leadership group, an organization, a staff, an office, so 16 personalities, again, that's free. So you go on the website and you can all do it. Now it helps if you have someone who's well-versed in it to facilitate that for you, so that you know what the ESTJ or INTP, what does that mean? And they explain it on the website, but sometimes it helps to have somebody to explain it a little bit more. Some other ones you might have heard of, maybe not. True colors and strengths. Those are 2 that there are people in CUNY who facilitate those. So they can do that for you as well. And it helps because you're learning about yourself, but then you're also learning about your teammates. No matter what the group is, you're learning about each other. So do you think it's important to learn about other people? And if so, why? I gave some answers, but like, do you ever have, like, have any of you ever done that before? Like you just get to know people and like, what did you do? How did you make that happen? Let's see, while you do that, I'm gonna look in the chat. Because as an introvert, one of my favorite things is to learn about people. So it's one of the things that's misunderstood about introverts. And we're all introverted, introverts are all different. Just like I said, like I'm somewhat extroverted for an introvert. So, but I love learning about people. Let's see. It's knowledge that agrees with one another. Maritza and I are a good example of getting to know people. Classmate. Oh, okay, cool. That's good. Okay. All right. So, so the last thing. So some of you talked about the field that you're interested in. Okay. So you learn about yourself. You learn about the people around you. And you learn about the field of interest. So that was Tiana, right? I believe, who was talking about,
yes.
Yeah, all right, cool. So you gave some great examples of what I'm talking about in this portion of it. So getting to know people. So why I asked like, oh, have you reached out to these people? Because you see somebody who's in a role or does work or has a title that you're interested in. Ask them about their path because they did it. Now, you might have a different path than them. There are people who do work that I do and they have a different path than I did. I do things my way. But I listen to people, but I have to do what's comfortable for me. Some of the career steps I've taken, people would tell you don't do that. I did it and I do it again. So I like to tell people, different ways to gather that knowledge. So the first thing I said is to read. So I wanted to share some of the articles that I read, like the websites they're from. So I'm an article reader. I'm not as much of a book reader. I love, when I see people who are just reading books upon books. I've never been a big book reader, but I do read here and that. So the last book I read was Becoming by Michelle Obama. I guess that was a good book to read, right? So Inc.com, Forbes website, Harvard Business Review, Psychology Today. Also LinkedIn. Going on LinkedIn, people post articles. I've learned a lot of things. Especially lately, I've been paying more attention to LinkedIn, and they have some, people post some interesting things to read. If you can, if you know, like this is the field that I want to be in, look at their professional organizations. Sometimes the membership fees are ridiculous. So, the national or the international is not the way to go right away. Sometimes there's a local chapter though that they have workshops and things that you don't have to be a member, but you might have to pay $10 to go. So you can choose, which workshops you want to go to. Right now, there are a lot of free webinars and virtual workshops. So going on LinkedIn, following certain people, even Facebook, finding people there, Twitter. If there's a certain school you're interested in and a certain department, sometimes those schools and departments are hosting webinars as well that are free. So doing things like that, and also volunteering. Now, right now, I do not encourage people to break the physical distancing that's happening. So I'll say that before I go into the volunteer part. Volunteering looks a little different right now. Volunteering, once we are not as distance. Could be you go on New York Cares and you, if you're interested in education, you find an opportunity where you can volunteer to teach in some way. Or it could be, you know, you want to be a veterinarian and so you volunteer with animals. It could also be, so like for now, right, so Eventbrite is also hosting free virtual workshops. Thank you, yeah. Volunteering could be, right now, just checking in on people. You know, there are people, I don't know how many of you might know them or might be them, but people who are graduating. And so, you know, giving some words of encouragement, some congratulations. If anyone is graduating, congratulations. Yeah, and also, you know, so for me, sometimes, you know, I'll donate a little bit if I can. So that's something, you know, if you have a certain group that you want to donate to. So let's see. Yeah. No, there's a lot going on in the chat. I love it. Okay. All right, cool. So so I wanted to make sure that I cover those three things. Learn about yourself, learn about the people around you, and then learn about your field. And I know you got to do all of that while you're taking classes and working and taking care of family and taking care of yourself. So it could be a lot. So it's good to set a plan, a professional plan. And when you know people and you have mentors that you can go to, they can help you to set that plan up. And you have me now, so I'm here to help outside of this workshop as well. So something that I want to share that it wasn't important to me years ago, but it's important to me now. It's called emotional intelligence. And that's defined as the capacity for recognizing our own feelings, and those of others, for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. So that's the Daniel Goleman definition. Based on that, what do you think I'm talking about? I feel like there's a word that keeps popping up. And also, you know, have you ever heard of emotional intelligence? Like, what do you think that's about?
I think it may have something to do with like, is it a little bit like, I don't know, I've taken like a cultural sensitivity training, and they do inquire some things about emotional intelligence, and it's like being smart about, I guess, the way you interact with people from different demographics, respecting and understanding other people's cultural beliefs and practices and things like that. I don't know if that's correct, but
everybody should take that class.
Idea a little bit of it. I had to take it for work. It's like a diversity hire training.
Lower that down, I can't hear.
Training within the job and knowing how to interact with your colleagues as well, things like that, and just like cultural sensitivity and emotional intelligence within the workplace.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so we got keeping yourself from being triggered, perhaps esteem management or wit and cognitive behavior. All right, so I have like a quick explanation of it. I'm not going to give it. So let's see what we got for you here. All right.
Since the dawn of humanity, the understanding of well-being and rational decision-making has remained relatively unchanged. However, recent discoveries in neuroscience and psychology may fundamentally change long-held theories about emotions and reasoning. One recent study analyzed patients who had experienced damage to the amygdala, a primitive part of the brain that typically regulates emotions. What they discovered was that these patients had often lost their ability to feel emotions and make basic decisions. The implication of this discovery is that our decisions are not determined simply by logic or emotions alone, but rather a combination of the two. When we make a bad decision that affects our well-being, it is typically caused by an imbalance between our reasoning and our emotions. This process of understanding and facilitating emotions into rational thinking is known as emotional intelligence. Originally developed in 1990 by John Mayer, David Caruso, and Peter Salovey, the theory of emotional intelligence can be broken down into 4 simple aspects. 1. The ability to perceive emotion. For humans, cues like facial expressions and gestures can indicate complex emotions that influence our understanding of other people, such as happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. 2. Understanding emotions. Emotions convey information. For example, happiness usually indicates a desire to join with other people. Sadness indicates a desire to avoid people, and so on. Each emotion conveys its own patterns of possible messages and actions associated with those messages. 3. Using emotions to facilitate thought. In recent years, cognitive scientists have discovered that emotions prioritize our thinking. Therefore, having a good system of emotional input can help you focus on things that truly matter. 4. Managing emotions. Managing emotions involves the ability to promote certain types of behavior through emotions and using them to your advantage. For example, if you're sad, you're more likely to be reflective and analytical. If you are happy, you're more likely to be social and outgoing. These 4 aspects that make up emotional intelligence inform our decisions, help predict life outcomes, and help us understand people in order to build healthy relationships.
Okay, so that's a little bit about emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is something that, good, I'm glad the video was accurate. Thank you. I do my research. Every time I do a workshop, I do my research. I try to give you things that make sense, but I also believe in it too. So for emotional intelligence, or EI, sometimes that's called, that's important to me as a leader, because I learned that as a leader, I have to work with people. So, and when I say work with them, so I said I'm a servant leader. My leadership style is collaborative. I like to work with people. So, like I said, I learn from you. Yes, you're a student. Great. Okay. You're a human being with expertise in something I probably don't have. So let's work together, and I know something and we can learn from each other. So, but it's also, it said managing emotions. I don't know how many of you have a problem with that, but I used to have a problem with that. So, and that's really, when I talked about the early days of my journey, that was one of my issues, was like, I would feel something, you would know it. I do have something still. How many of you, have you ever heard of all right, fix your face? I've had people tell me to fix my face, because you can tell I'm an honest person, and I want you to know what I'm thinking, and yeah, me, yeah, in the chat, me, yeah. So I have had, all right, a few people have heard that. So there's a balance to that. And, maybe 20 years ago, I was not as good at it. I wanted you to know how I felt, why I felt it, because I'm honest, and you need to know where I'm coming from. I still feel that way, but also I am able to control my face a little bit more. One of my tricks is, if I'm feeling really, especially in personal conversations, I'll be like, okay, So you can't see that like, that I'm like, what? Okay. It's hard to do that at work sometimes. So, but at work, and we're talking about professional success. So that is something to be mindful of. You know, are you, you know, I don't know if you've heard this, like a screw face, like, you know, what? That would be my, what? So it's how you react to what people are saying. And so when you're listening to what someone's saying and you're not paying attention so much to what you're thinking and feeling, that helps, because you're listening to what the person is saying instead of thinking about how you're going to react to it. When you approach a situation, and this is a whole other topic, like you've heard win-win, win-lose. If you approach it from a win-win perspective, you're going into that expecting the best. It's not always going to be the best outcome. And sometimes people are not looking to help you, but you're here, they're not. And so you're here, you're being armed with tools and skills and tips that not everybody else is. And so you now have a responsibility as the leaders you are. When you're done with these workshops every Friday, whatever you're learning, you have to go practice it. And you have each other to support each other. So if you have a day or you have a moment, and we have our moments, you know, and we got to catch ourselves. But you can come to this group here, you can come to these people and you can vent and then be open to constructive criticism or helpful advice. So, but the point I want to make is you are learning things that not everyone else is. And so it is now your responsibility to practice it. One of my goals when I'm doing workshops like this is to help develop future supervisors and managers and leaders so that you're not doing the things that I see some of the leaders and managers and supervisors do now. They weren't here in this academy. They were sitting through these workshops. So that's one of my things. It's one of my ways of giving back. It's also, like I said, I see things happen and I'm like, no, we need to stop this. So how do we stop it? We talk about it here. Okay, so any thoughts? The chat has been going. So while I read through that, does anybody want to share, you know, you can unmute yourself and share about emotional intelligence, some of the things that you know, you find comfortable, you find uncomfortable. Let's hear it, and I'll read through here. I do enjoy working with people. Okay, so there's a few people here that we gotta fix our faces, huh? I feel there's a balance too. I'm gonna control my face, but also I'm gonna stay true to who I am. And so that's something that I've had to learn through my professional career, is how do I stay genuine and then also be professional. And so like I said, I don't take things as personal as I used to. I don't know if you've heard about the book, The 4 Agreements. That was a very good book. And they do talk about don't take things personally. Yeah, so it still happens to me. It used to happen to my head too. Okay. I need to control my facial expressions more and your tone. Yeah. So another workshop I do is called Leading with Love. And so what I am on this journey as well is approaching people from a place of love. Now, love comes in different forms. I'm not talking about romantic love, like I'm gonna fall in love with everybody. But I mean that I wish the best for you. And so our interactions are based on that, on compassion and kindness. And, you know, a part of it is I wasn't always that way. words to describe me are or were aggressive, closed up, defensive, and there's still some of that. Approach me the wrong way. I was born in New York City. I live in Brooklyn, and so somebody gets too close, especially these days. Somebody gets too close to you, it's like, excuse me, sir. Please, 6 feet away or more, thank you. So yeah, so that's something that I've had to work on. All right, so okay, I want to go back because we did talk about success. Hey, what just happened here? Okay. This will be my, here we go. Okay. All righty. So I'm just sharing my screen because I want to give you some information. All right. And there we go. Okay. So success. So going back in the beginning, we talked about some ideas of success. So based on everything that we went over in this workshop, I'm curious to hear, what are some steps, or like if those who want to share, either verbally or in the chat, what is one step that you're going to take now that you've been through this workshop in order to bring you even closer to your idea of success? So I mean, I need to control my facial expressions is the last comment I saw in that. So that might be something to work on. It could be that you're gonna go on LinkedIn and research some individuals. I find people just by like clicking through, like you go to one person's page and there's somebody who is a industrial and organizational psychologist who's an expert on meetings. And I have this thing about me, I actually like meetings, but I like to study them as well. Like, what's the best way to structure them? What's the best way for me to participate in them? And so I found someone who's an expert in meetings, and he does webinars. So I think there was one like 2 weeks ago, maybe, free. And it's a school, in Ohio. I think it's Ohio State University. Yeah. So like randomly, I found that on LinkedIn. So, okay. So manage my emotional intelligence. Okay. So, yeah. So as far as managing your emotions, is there something that you realize that you got to do? And throughout this chat, you've been sharing some things. What I'm doing now is I am asking each of you to identify one thing. This is the one thing that I'm going to work on. It's not homework. I don't know if you can do it or not, but you could also share with me in the future, like, hey, Cristina, I had a class project and somebody typed something and I didn't like it. But I reacted in a kind way. This is what I said, but what I was thinking was this. Sometimes I'll think something, but it doesn't make it to my mouth. So that's the control. There's a control between my brain and my mouth. All right, manage my anger. Yeah, so one of the things about anger is, what triggers it? Why do you feel that anger? And sometimes that's where sitting with a trained professional helps, because it's like, you could keep diving into the anger and realize it's something from like childhood or from a specific incident that happened that you need help processing. Identification with the mundane and order of engagement. Everybody grows that way. Yeah, growth never ends. like I said earlier, there's always something that needs to be developed. Yeah, work on not taking things personally or getting offended when hearing feedback from others. I had to work on that too. It helps when you've built trust with other people. And so I would say like, that's a good way to start. Go to people who you trust, who you know that you can, to a certain degree, you could take some feedback from them. And it helps to, you know, as you're hearing that, it helps to practice hearing feedback. But also another way to be, you know, to not get so offended is like, be realistic with yourself. Like, I know there's certain things I do that might not, you know, other people might not be comfortable with them, or, you know, it might not be, you know, the way they do things. And so I've gotten confident with knowing like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if, you know, like I'm a little more structured than you are. Or for some people, I'm not structured enough. I have a coworker who, she likes to have her email inbox completely, like it's all the emails are read. I don't need all my emails to be read. So I might read it, but then I'll mark it as unread. So when you look at my inbox, it looks like I have like a ton of emails that I didn't read, but I read them. I just marked them as unread because it's easier for me when I look back. But for some people doing that, it's like, no, you have to have an inbox that's completely like 0 unread. So, and I know that's personal preference. Yeah. 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 You're laughing at me. So, so those are some of the things that I like. I know. I'm realistic about it. Sometimes my jokes are not funny. It's okay. Not everybody's gonna like me, and then some people love me. So, you know, I'm okay with that too. I think that's just, you know, getting comfortable with myself as well. Yeah. Let's see what else. Always give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. You know, it's unfortunate because there are some people in this world who they don't want to help you. They're about themselves, and for whatever reasons, they're not about helping other people, especially if you're this, that, or the other thing. So, you know, so like when in my workshop about like leading with love, there are certain times when, I mean, to be able to work with people, you have to have those core people, a mentor, a friend, a coworker who you trust that you can vent to. And also recognize who, you know, the experts on certain things. So, you know, especially when you're an advocate, if you're going to be doing, you know, social justice advocacy, that can be tough, you know, in certain audiences, in certain crowds. And so having ways to deal with that is very important. Also, you know, somebody had neuroscience too. So depending on what you're going to be doing with that, you know, you're going to have days where you're going to, you know, you might want to rely on other people just to, you know, it could be to vent. Yeah, you've already experienced it. Yeah, it's the reality. And so that's why, like I said before, you have this space here and you have people like Jason, now you got me, who you can go to, and, you know, talk about whatever the experiences are, whatever advice you have. You know, we don't judge, you know, and it sounds like in the chat that some of you have some, you know, some good connections here in this group as well. So, so I'm glad that you have that. So going along with that, I just wanted to make sure that I share ways to stay in contact with me. So I am on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Also, if you want to email me, my email is there. It's CWASZAK. My last name is Waszak, at bmcc.cuny.edu. Yeah, if you want to reach me on social media, I don't put like too much personal. That's why I'm okay with doing that. Here and there I will, but I will follow back. And so that's, ooh, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, we got to, okay. Getting individuals to care and get involved is a challenging task. Yeah, not everybody cares and not everybody wants to get involved. So it's not our job to save everyone. I don't know if anyone's a J. Cole fan, but he has a song where he goes, "Don't save her, she don't want to be saved." And like different instances, I'd be at work and be like, "Don't like I don't want to be a savior. You know, I'm not a savior." There are certain populations, certain people, certain groups that they need the help, and they will welcome the help. And so that's easy. Sometimes there are people who need the help, and it takes a little while until they recognize that they need the help. And so that's challenging. And so I say not to just brush them off right away, you know, but if you keep trying and trying, sometimes they gotta learn it for themselves. I'm going to continue to empower even more people, because if I can make it, so can you. Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So I'm reading. Yeah. Yep. Oh, good for you. All right, SGA. SGA is a good. I think radiology is so cool. Okay. That's great. Can I shout you out? Can I? Brian, thank you for sharing your story in the chat. Good for you. And congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far. You know, it sounds like, well, you said, you know, you definitely have to be a strong-minded person. You apply yourself. You know, thank you for doing that. I know that, you know, I'm just meeting you. We're just talking now, but it's one of the things that I really appreciate about CUNY students. And, you know, I'm here with Hostos students. So like with Hostos students, one of the words I use about CUNY students is, you know, resilient. I think when I applied for the job that I have now at BMCC, it's one of the things that I said. Community college students are special, because to me, you're everyday people. Like, you know, the stories that you have mirror the story. I mean, you are of everyday people, you know. There's struggles and challenges, but accomplishments and celebrations, and you know, just like Brian in your story, you know, you have this leadership position, you know, in SGA, and you know, you're doing your thing, and you know, I'm happy to be, you know, among all of these great students that you are, and yeah, I thank you for your, you know, for your participation in this workshop. I really, you know, like I said, thank you, Jason, for, you know, inviting me to be part of this. Like I said, it's been a little while, so I was really excited to get in, you know, and be here with you. So just, you know, I'm here if there's any comments. Jason, I don't know if you want to share anything, but
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Can you hear me? That's weird.
You're echoing. Let's see. Oh wait, try again, actually. No, that's not gonna work. Okay. Oh, now I'm echoing.
Is everybody echoing?
Woo! You
There's
have to mute either your phone or your computer. Oh, Jason, you have your phone and your computer going? I was gonna say it's 5:17 on a Friday. Maybe it's like woo. Yeah.
All right, so I can't hear myself, but can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Echo
that's
gone?
better.
Echo's gone.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So Cristina and I have worked together for a long time. She used to be at Brooklyn College, and we collaborated on the Emerging Leaders Conference for a bunch of years. So it was a lot of fun to do that, and we got to know each other. And then I think I either replaced Cristina as chair, or Cristina replaced me as chair of the CCSLD. I don't remember how that worked.
I think we worked together. Were we like co-secretaries, or I was chair and you were secretary, or you were chair and I was secretary, something like that? At one point,
I have no idea what she's saying.
Oh.
Okay. So, but anyway, we worked together closely on that. And then she moved to BMCC, and then I found out at the conference last month, the Emerging Leaders Conference in February, actually, that she still has her office at Brooklyn College, and she has an office at BMCC. Now I think she wants an office at Hostos, so you guys see. But I want to thank Cristina for being here. It's always nice to have friends join us. She really wanted to be involved. I asked her to come in February, but she runs her own leadership program at BMCC. So it was a little hard for her, but because we went remotely, it made it possible for her to come and be with us today. So let's give her a round of applause. Want to clap?
With that ambition.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Miles is eating dinner now. So again, thank you guys for being here. I'm going to save this and post it. The echo is really weird.
It was great to meet you all. For those of you I hadn't met before, great.
I remember seeing you at the Emerging Leaders Conference. Yes, you were doing your workshop. I also learned from you as well. I sent you an email, by the way, just now. Hopefully you read it.
Okay, I will read it.
Okay, thank you.
I plan on just, checking into, I like to, one of the things when you facilitate workshops with students is like, I meet you all, and I hear some of your stories and things, and then it's like, hey, I want to hear, like, what happened? What school did they go to after? Did they take a job? What did they do? So it's good when, we can stay in touch, even if it's just like a few months from now, like, hey, Cristina, remember I was talking about this? Just wanted to tell you, this is what happened. So I encourage it. I'm totally down for it. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting today's workshop. I really appreciate it, Cristina.
Thank you.
It was a great birthday present from you. It's my birthday, by the way, so thank you.
Oh!
Happy birthday, Maritza.
Happy birthday!
Yes. I'm glad I'm spending it with you guys.
Happy birthday to her.
Go ahead, start.
Can we all sing happy birthday to her?
Yeah, go.
You guys want to do it? Okay.
Unmute.
Unmute everybody.
We can't sing happy birthday unless you guys unmute. Edith, Kenya, Sandra, Sarah, Allah, are y'all there? Okay. Rudolph, are you there?
1, 2, 3.
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy Marita. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, shucks, you guys, my heart melted. Thank you all. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, no problem.
You're so sweet.
That's a great, no, this is a great birthday gift, you know, at least staying home and having the workshop with you guys and talking, connecting, it keeps me more happy and positive, you know. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it.
That was great.
Have some cake later. Have some ice cream. Hey, treat yourself, girl. Do a nice little face mask.
Happy Friday.
Thank
Happy
you.
Friday,
Happy Friday.
everyone.
Hopefully when everything opens up, I could do that, you know, get my hair done, face mask, all that stuff you're telling me. I want to do that.
Yes, girl. Yes, get it. Do your nails too. Today is self-care day for you. It's your birthday, so do yourself accordingly.
Yeah, is
Get
there
my hair
like a
done, but
TV show that you want to watch or anything like that?
Don't worry about it, girl. You don't need to get your hair done. You have gorgeous hair.
Exactly. It's fine.
Beauty is the best beauty, honey.
thank you. Tiana's she's too much.
No,
I love
it's
her.
Tiana. Tiana, she's looking like a whole snack. Like, she's good, girl. Don't worry. You look good.
Stop. Oh my God, I can't.
Sandra, I agree with Sandra. I don't know if you guys heard, but Brian said happy Friday to everybody. I don't know
Oh,
if
Thank you.
Brian
Happy
and
Good
his
Friday.
happy days. Happy Thursday. Happy Monday.
he tells everybody every day, like, happy Monday,
Good.
Wednesday, happy Tuesday. Like, I always look forward to hearing that when I walk through the bridge of Hostos, and I literally stop at the bridge. I take my headphones out, and I'm like, let me hear it. And he always says it.
I just try to keep up people's, like, you know, keep up people's happiness, you know.
Yeah. We definitely stay positive and happy
'Cause
during this
you know
time.
what it is? You never know how people are feeling when they enter that complex in the morning. So, you know, if they had a bad night or, you know, they having a bad day, I just try to make them realize, like, it's all right. Everything's going to be all right.
That's 100%
Exactly.
true. And he
Mhm.
says that too. He's not just faking it. He says this at school too. He's like, the reason why I say it is because I don't know if maybe somebody's having a bad day. So it's his way of picking up the student body.
Mhm.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you, Jason.
Right. Wait, okay. So are you the type that would be like say to a stranger, like, oh, I like your shoes?
Yeah, you know, why not?
Yeah.
That's the
nobody,
best thing.
You never know if someone never even told them that in their life before. So, you know, that could be really impacting them in a good way, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you give someone a compliment, they really like it. They'd be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I never knew. Like, you know, I always love giving people compliments. It makes them feel
People
good.
got to
you know?
realize in life, small things go a long way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't got to do the biggest celebration every time to celebrate somebody. Just celebrate them. You know what I mean? We got to give people their flowers while they're here. Like, I always like to say that too.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm on when I would be on the train, like, I remember one time there was somebody, his suit was perfect. And I was like, I can't let him go. Like, I gotta tell him. But you know, a lot of people have headphones in. So when I'm like, you know, excuse me, like if somebody says excuse me to you, initially you're like, oh man, what's going on? And then I'm like, I just wanted to tell you, your suit is perfect. It's amazing. And he's like, oh, thank you, you know?
Mhm.
So it catches people off guard sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sometimes
You probably made his day.
Like, if they can't hear
I know.
I just tap them. I'm just like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, dope outfit. And they're
yeah.
You know, I'm like, no doubt, you got it. And then I just keep walking.
Yeah. Or
I
like
think,
somebody,
you know,
she had a lip color, it was amazing on her. And I was just like, I just gotta tell you that lip color is amazing on you. So, oh, thank you.
No, I love to hear that because you know what? I think more women need to do that to empower all women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just coming past them in the morning with the face and this and that, we need more like uplifting out here in this world. You know what it is?
Yes, Brian, say that again so we can hear you louder. Say it again. But people
need
back. Say it louder.
No, we need to uplift each other, encourage each other, whether it's a pandemic or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we need more of that.
I agree.
100%. Yeah, at some point we will be back on the trains, and that's part of it too. That's part of like the managing emotions. There was so I worked in Brooklyn. So then when I first started working in Manhattan again, I had to take a bus and 2 trains, and so I would get, there was one morning I got off the train and I was running like ahead of time so I could do it because it was so crowded that somebody elbowed me in my back. I don't think they meant to, but like somebody elbowed me in my back. So my initial reaction was like, you know, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off the train because I don't want my aggressive side to come out, and I just let it go. And yeah, had to let it go. But yeah, but even like looking, you know, so I think part of it too is when you compliment somebody, sometimes they're ready for the, so are you single? You know, and it's just, I'm just giving you a compliment. That's it.
Oh, while we're all here, can I just make a quick announcement?
Yes.
Is that okay, boss?
Yeah.
Yes, but I just want to confirm.
Oh, yeah, he's nodding. He's nodding his head, so that's a yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with the group that I am very pleased to see Yanira will be the president of the Hostos Dream Team Club for next semester.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, girl. Yes, I'm so happy. Yes.
Also, I am actively
Congratulations.
Members into the club. So if you guys know anybody that would be interested in the position of VP or secretary or treasurer, please let them let me know. Either reach out to me or share my email with them and have them email me. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm really actively looking for students.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Adira. I know she's excited. I'm so happy for you. The Dream Team is a good club. You know, they help out the supporting the undocumented international students. You know, because I'm a member too, right, Tiana? You know, I used to attend the meetings and stuff. Like hear everything, all the information.
Cristina had mentioned like individuals that you would go back to like help you with things and stuff like that. And I did want to say like Maritza has been like a huge anchor for me at Hostos. If there's somebody that I could depend on for support or promotion or advertisement or advocacy, is definitely Maritza. She is like truly amazing. Even though she has a jam-packed schedule, this girl does a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Time for me on several occasions to help me out. And I just want to say I greatly appreciate that. Like, I appreciate all of your efforts, and I appreciate you always making the time for me. And anything that you need, you know I got your back.
Thank you. Oh, shucks, stop. It's about to make me cry on my birthday. Tears of joy, tears of joy. I love it. The love. Spread the love, not hate. Spread the love. Exactly.
Since we're making
All right,
announcements.
have a good week.
Wait. 1 minute, boss.
Oh,
1 minute.
Sandra wants to make an announcement.
Wait, hold on.
Sandra wants to make an announcement from Florida.
Wow.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Since we're doing that, okay, guys. So a lot of you guys have received the email from boss about passing the torch. Please tell your friends about it, that you invest in the Leadership Academy so that they can be encouraged. We are trying really hard. I mean, boss is trying really hard so we can have this. So please support everyone. I encourage you guys. It's gonna be, I think, the second week, boss.
Okay.
The passing the torch is going to be on the 21st.
So tell your friends about it, that you know that's in leadership. Even if the person is not, we will really greatly appreciate that, you know, some people can join and celebrate that moment with us. Thank you.
Definitely. I'll spread the word for sure. Yes.
No doubt.
Any
I'll
more
get you a bunch
announcements?
of spectators.
No more announcements.
All right. Everybody be safe. We'll see you next week.
Definitely. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Christina, check my email. I send it to you, please.
Okay, I'll look.
Respond to it, please, so I know.
I will. Okay, I'll do it.
Homework, Christina.
Okay.
I know.
No, as soon as she gave the email, I already sent her an email. I'm like, you know me, I like to be on top of my stuff.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Stay healthy and safe, okay? Be careful.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. How do I log out?